All right. Well, this is just a quick video. Haven't been able to get any work done. I'm looking for work as my work, mostly some other stuff. But I've been following this Oregon standoff, and they've been broadcasting videos I mentioned in passing over the last couple weeks. There were 4 holdouts. It just ended last night. Yesterday, the FBI had moved in, and they were live streaming through this YouTube channel. And the assemblywoman from Nevada was talking to them, and you could hear the FBI also screaming at them, bullhorning at them, back and forth. And then the assemblywoman decided to go down there. The FBI wasn't going to let anybody on the refuge. And Billy Graham's son, one of his sons, also going down there. And then the FBI finally agreed to let them all meet at some in-between point, and I guess up to where the FBI was, and they would surrender with no guns. And that was supposed to happen by 8, but so they ended the call like 2 o'clock my time yesterday, maybe 11, I guess. And this one, David Fry, who'd been doing most of the video broadcasts, wasn't really, less and less was on that call. You could hear him screaming in the background. And this guy, Sean Anderson, who was the one who had said, "Come up here," the day Cliven, or the day Finicum, the guy Finicum got shot. "Come up here, and if they stop you, kill them." These guys thought there were thousands of patriots. The revolution was starting. And I thought that this might happen, but so, by about 9 their time, the 3 of them walked out. The couple first, the guy that had said kill him on the way, walked out with the flag and his wife. And then this Jeff guy walked out, and then David Fry's like, "I'm not going out." And I told him I wasn't going to go out. And he had, "Do you haven't addressed my grievances?" And he was asked what his grievances were, and it's that his federal tax money goes to fund abortion, things like this. At one point, he's just like, "Why'd they take away my pot? I'm from Iowa. I can't even have pot." And he's not a Christian. He's a Messianic Jew, which is a Jew for Jesus, basically. And he's worried about the nuclear power plants being unsafe because they haven't been inspected and they're old and stuff, which is true. And what was the other thing? And I was moved to tears because, and the one real reason he just didn't want to be raped in prison was coming out. And he's in the tent, evidently, and he says he has a gun to his head. And just the whole life and death, and because there's definitely a lot of just natural comedy in this whole thing. But saying that the feds wanted to kill him, which obviously they're not trying to do. And not that there's not situations where the last thing of concern to an agent is keeping you alive. And, definitely there's a certain situation. But this particular situation, they were doing everything they could, and they did resolve it. So it really seemed like he was going to kill himself. And in his credit, he wasn't going to try it. He wasn't going to do the suicide by cop and go out blazing in a moment of, ego. He just couldn't take it anymore. Oh, and he's also complaining about over-medication of kids and chemical warping by the government. But in the end, a couple times he's like, "Well, I want a pizza." And he was just joking. He laughed. And then that moment passed. It was an hour later that he finally turned up. But his last thing was similar. It's like, "Well, if everybody out there says hallelujah," and I guess enough people out there said hallelujah, he walked out to this Michelle Fiore, the assemblywoman from Nevada, and Billy Graham's son. And now they're all in custody. It was surreal. And the 2 people, the live feed, the phone call that they were on is run by, patriots is what they call themselves. And just a lot of praying and manipulation. And basically, they were driving more to suicide. I mean, it was like, where are the professional negotiators? And then right at the end, the FBI started talking to David. And a few moments later, David was out. So they said something we didn't hear that really made the difference of talking him down, because these other guys were just, I mean, for one, they couldn't get that he wasn't a Christian. And I'd heard him say it, and he said it, and it's on the papers. And but he does believe in, you know, what is it, Yahshua or Yeshua or whatever, you know, the Jewish name, that Jesus was the Messiah. So some of their rhetoric, but it mostly was just crazy. And then they called him a coward at one point. And you know, it's really just like harmless, but caught up in a real event that makes it harmful. You know, like so many ranters we all deal with. But in a situation with the gun, or a situation where the red button seemed like it was right available, so it's time to act. The sickness with life, really. And then we have these prisons where somehow these guys are in prisons for doing crimes that they can't even prevent in the prison. So that's working out great, you know, because everybody thinks it's so funny. Thus, some person that does civil disobedience has to face that I'm not just going to go do time, you know, and write a book and pay for my civil disobedience, hope that there's a message to it. No, I'm also going to get anally raped. Yeah, well, it's an overblown thing, but it's not an untrue thing. And if you don't get raped, you're going to get beat up and all kinds of things. Very difficult situation, whereas really it's supposed to be just, you can't walk around freely in the outside world. It's not supposed to be that. And by the way, we let even worse crimes happen to you while you're there. You will be a victim. So don't be a criminal, because then it's okay. We'll put you somewhere where you can't even escape victimization. And then, of course, it makes you more desperate. And that was definitely a big factor in the end. Anyway, it was an amazing thing. And of course, throughout the whole thing from last night, you know, on, there's no, CNN's got no clue. And I don't know, I suppose it's hitting the news now. It's got to have hit the news now that the last guy left, but no. But I mean, you know, CNN always wants to have this situation room, what's going on? And yet something like this is going on and they just have no idea. I mean, it was pretty fucking riveting. I mean, the FBI screaming things from one side, and on the other hand, it was also comical, because it was like last night, it was like the craziest conference call ever. Anyway, all right. You have been updated. Mostly I just had to brain dump that stuff. I got to get back to something productive here. All right, cheers.